Grace Whittaker stood at siya and the towering brick and glass headquarters of Malista Resolution for hand-quacking her the alters figures tighter tension in tulos na ng lekwong to her skinny bent how it was, barely siyang, Zeroa. Unnerved as already felt dunk with nerve as she glanced down at Lily her 7-year. Omro was staring na apat ka building ways a mixture of awe and boredom mo, Lily said squinting air walain. No. Granad forcing a smile over niya clearly enough to impress. The jerk was her so much he was irritated in talk not she had 30 minutos to my herkis to lumos at frosip tech firm in the so fast and she was bringing a child into lare interview no nekatere ideal job babysitter had cancelled at 7, 4 at 2 ang precisely 2 minutos after Grace had finished printing her portfolio there was no backup nan hadn't been a backup plan in months kalas few freelance projects by Pedgarant and her emergency Siemens had benisya sumitan between Nelly's dental work and the car's feeling suspicion no kes meeting karas chance was everything na stepad karabig of front doors into a kit modern na bikood baigang fin tom of central air and gasok dedo of abute. In Wheeler war a woman in a repibrals at behind the wide reception desk per news pretty repigayon at keyboard for Sherlock in hapuet a polite but distracted smile can help you. Grace Whittaker, she said trying to inject some stability into her voice hang an interview at Sangpo. Zero mate kuman resources ka receptionist located at Lily Fendak at Grace ako make here of submitting non-read about pas gonger her face hemas sit. She say nila let them know your prior. Grace nodded and guided Lily to the four corner of the room where a small waiting area guitar chairs and glossy company magalicious at small and her skirt and open in her portfolio again she had checked it 3 times already but she needed to make into though when her hands moved. Lily whispered to Gin on her arm where those everyone looked like they were about to go to shores. Grace following her indulters di shirts what's kong rehas nets prasyo sa veryon mumb na ikay belongs bacons kay one to immerse ko pero perla upstairs she said brushing a crawl from Lily's forehead just line but you already do art dog Grace smiled at crack foaming in her composure while sumitels being good is tenam sweetheart sumitenis paymerid to belly up in your Lily tiutin orlan I beliam in you before Grace ko rapid na receptionist's voice that across sa nabi Miss Whittaker Mr. Malister we siyang no Grace her Fus ni sa Malister siya ay showed it samot corrections of, plans yo uman said already walking briskly toward niya elevator lalays to evaluate candidates personal for creative positions Grace siya taglans at Lily who says within nagdo iguto. Ilo receptionist pas dim asyog that kaut maralay atas center na dock tower ja elevator without ano karamor Grace nero her trembling as she rested for Lily's shoulders okay listen carefully you sit on the bed outside the office you take it yung player tablet if you need just wait for your receptionist to kong backdoor at kong inala sa halos ferrers sa dragon Lily green and with no dragons good it race keys her forehead pressed her pass against her thighs so stop ko checking and followed ka receptionist long echoin corridors landwet floor to ceiling windows 10 lower door opened and career was eaten Malister stood that ka far end of you of the staring up over lor sa mal ng river lie it road answers phone LC Cog Zero was towerboard, shouldered humor. Here it is so loki that's extensive but one with ka indifference of some room was taped carrying what peopot kahot along tayo nagoron then turn when she entered Grace Whittaker. Spell facing the window. His voice came cold when you're Renee. She buried and he apologized he had to sign in. Ang ibig kiwori. Kaya said turning no his case was unreadable but his ASB sharp and tered lapid antong ernailas patay idon palyo at excuses ali akamas Grace swallowed hard understood how gestured towards sa wall tebno beto in plem your portfolio she stepped forward in their later binder down with stare and go penitito the first read as she began to talk about color care design ikats visual storytelling or was wabog plans did but did nodded comment then it was night pitching to as ton washer frepan to a page figurine mareredesignohan ng profit brand case campaign increase donations bi 40% ka doorbus open mamimigim frost again Lily Grace to mesh rapid can set secretion then shine she guys drifted to no child intro doorway then slowly back to Grace in so sorry. She began reaching for Lily mortified bunny series na hand not to dismiss to command just to pause. Not cursed slightly ay lero with social militated her lead studying him with innocent intensity luksan. The full breeze sold stop her lily stepped forward and rapid her sarang these legs were unsure hand ng pleteli una credit was he can nahug that acid for nakiitlen stood motionless his hands over upward the interelken slowly on sa anchor child's back just for a second now whisper of contact when Lily pulled away she smiled up at him cuts better he can look it down at her then up at place something unspoken past between Korean here not lace law offers. Said penalibas lo most kung in metaro dan siyo kay minrin. Ito nagtutla portfolio din open it yung store at Monday Grace Bucket but yung haman kibran ni misin in na looked back at ili it's rare. Tomit sumiyon wo say sekati uhat kimin Grace Cloud berely brinat akiyo siya whispered isan na denans di borang will handle your onboarding year lo be working directory west ready san team was already turning back to the window when Grace stepped up Lee skipping designer mo. Lee whispered na stay entered kahol did he ruin it. Grace loud yen her yes glass sinungan ni it yung might have seen it. Walked out before she could reply Grace stolen kya silence that followed unsure whether her heart was fluttering from his words or from how easily si Madton Ramo or Bitatlo. Sir siya di memores de varions nar Messi in the team directory and Brader very fan di Bora handed her siya to notice not because she was told to but because lo faster she found her placer the sa her show waong kiyong Japanin session was held in along last boredom on her looking just hit belowinan sa tatlo leg of Kotebgo Caroline Malister his sister and foss at opposites him frepping from a benderlay siya was well seen paper with each tearness stepen in tono last seat Caroline glance sa Miralan yung Grace na dead praying not to wag Grace wari taker design Caroline store de was so open si Tetikas mrat ka on was so unuso interview perlas ikan den tilok up Caroline im gas scene. Grace open in or mawak but ikan receiver handshakes her cuts out that matters. Caroline's dislenured a moment non Jerry can drop it dormas. After meeting was a war of project temelals donor targets menu constraints Grace step. Hihilit absorbing it out when sumon si Benin at fame sumekan emotional but not ordol. Caroline's Martin lats not pander to sympathy. Pan-Grace without meaning to spoke iwahat. If it's not about sympathy, she say muhat if it's about renewal about what happens when sumilon gives you a second chance and you then tevent nulyon ni dead on gamrong fell curate Caroline Reese na brother yung hang amesolto bakkat update says paid can pulled or notebook from her bag siya operito a sketch lilihad down that morning free stake figure standing on her hat trick on holding a heart on holding hands and on swilling tower gasang physicist professional. She admitted holding it up but it's handy in. Ethan stared at the drawing his jotens, slightly can relaxed mellow with it, aside Caroline blended joke and be serious. In very serious he can reply it says Grace then to know what surprise from Morga decision or wow final it's agad after some meeting as yoron ang tag Caroline Len Jared bayin siya approached Grace now reharms cross kimasin payo po layo before. Siya said voice na uyo kuminauketan brighteyed but face play it it's payo po mistakenness for leverage Grace met or desi eveni imnot her talk lab ladder ki just po and todo work cut niyan sumit. King Caroline tited her head can watch your step meaning ko wordos, guarantee save run show out yo spreaking like punctuation Grace stood there holding Lily's sketch her hands a little steadier can kaya bin cat morning not save but may be so making better real Karin started at a whisper against ka windows Grace sat at her desk ka following morning watching in bed soft footer race down ka glass or sa manas kilan was door red behind the mist as if kasi had taken a soft break and suod down her fingers from her na book or keyboard but kabren king cursor makin her sense she was stuck she just couldn't shake away it and had located at Lily's drawing not just apparable not even admiration recognition it lineared behind his ayes lakin nohel. Recognition cat didn't confirm ka drawing itself but from what it started up in him she'd seen it before on Riemann Paris at school fundraisers on her own thing in some mirror some mornings sa taasa of making lost so meling toong regal to namang voice broke her focus pakishitter na kan stood gas at shade her open glass wall of her workspace holding kumumugs breeze naked formal shrugged can stop aired inside while waiting for permission its sister na swirler espresso machine at sang jet and in she said accepting ganap confident, pedyong falabring your employees coffee type minute kasit settling into you and teacher ahros from her but you're not a kaktiya at type our employees shilawgan under her bit kat sandnek a compliment na warning may bungi it's bang akit moment pass na rin second and gristo kasit stalling siya kaumfyun lowet of his this it was kilipi but it was direct leluwas takrid gof what you might find. If her locate tolong you so making in cat going, Lily reminds na sumyun. Grafi seed finally his moist dropping an uptime, Eileen na wet siya wakait ina wong fuwak setik na kingo, person wumalyo kilay American kaong still turn out ko kay Greek what should go yung apad his fingers sarang gamugnot type. But careful na sir was afraid to break sumurnin invisible didn't know you were married she said gently immunoterted not almor la silence that followed what tang comfortado it was respectful and full in sorry. She whispered so was he. The murmured for a long time. Reese looked down at her hand yawn dan kang tong tao kabang tit. Iwan to. Kasi dan fencer past himself may adding with you. She looked up fair yes net not with for what's not yet but what he got in of fit cat print des sumesin importance sumering error si God before it her cold speak. Again di burang appear ni doorway sorry to interrupt, she said glancing between them with attache to man's curiosity neither malista na pre-18 is meeting in the first more conference room. He can study his composure sliding back into place Leila well, born cohort after his thank you for the company. Left without looking back, di bora linear may take ka impression. Si Sidan most casually grace din taan so yung ni siya og be careful. Deborah haadan her voice lower no peo pro talk especially when so making looks like more can uhat it, he is. Maurice exhaled slowly her coffee no come in her had let them talk even he been from most friend with first that evening when Grace Perkin Lily up from school Narin had stopped the Stimoki open while golden lat and Lily skipped beside her chattering about art class and not train his mom, siya astig is tika sadman really your boss. Grace laog yet ang laking, the Cordorias Cagbiro should probably stop calling him cat but is not sa darang Joe. Lily said buckling in it kay nilay girl. Grace sut mid mo siya Lily smiled at yester ni Rios miling nilayit na kindyo domenyo Joe sumatin parket. Grace stared at her daughter heart fading peo po si the Ferrer times fan kids do. She said gently Lily rinon her nos not kay nas pretend not to see. Idant kinuwidron, ups do at back akong bisriyain last overs malili painted at yan table na room smelled like garlic land pre yung map forms kong toto walls dressed glanced over at her the author's list creation freely resto dang daragan korin sang on to with silver here on with abon on with bright yellow cross kay wearer holding hands she brinket unsure what ripo na or fit yar next morning race arrived that work tong find na note on her desk lash at 12 tatlopung may office no portfolios just conversation she stirred at it pause resin at 12, 2 at 7 shit na ketan his or his door hands kung daspecaletican opener it himself no ties to die. She said teasing light looked down at his open kong Larry Ali Mercam when in it more. Tanto die. He wanted to velocious tapid in a small table had been set up near the window kay with pumukli of roasted shaken vegetables and I still not carried na toward ready. Nakuki. Siya may isin anaya brownie Superman, kaside Melissa in culinary cos, na-favor. Naisatan for a moment ni spoke in a very frustrated beyond the window kong and why he was nervous to see you again gate admitted why Becker's car last time without it fruitless so making chinihinan he wasn't ready for it to mean so meling ikanoded slowly haven't let onion in for a long time Grace she smelled sad di ikin go figure di halin red for or nanbon uncatable you may know what to remember how her breath code and just as tightly herming Frey carried back to Caroline swirling to the bascarusion to Lily's yet just it can't be gas abag lali isyo spread its note, kasid batches loon uopeled sa door. Talong pause nuts na rush it, isen place na gently on her back and dagan evil been waiting for you. Greece breathed out, not just because of what you said but the way you said it warm like family ng rest of the debured in golden chotic worth in sumlong from marketing had human lily a black name tan and letter ni Sander on it no red creative director official in glitter punches at nuts to Greece at her workstation coloring intently while offering unsolicited but surprisingly insightful opinions about color palettes iket kabnulos to sad choice paradan sining cos to base monitor trialong et feels like of ilan, wanted by at that moment and shackled she's not wrong by me Dr. Noon Deborah wrote cookie sa finance department had adopted a set of twin toddlers whom were no loan official moral officers on developer had san up aligo corner adyet. So mayroong amid sa control just brace fang year sa kwatsan ikan munran snot bekasa demanded karons attention bekyo sir den kiamong prog sa building lay soron wohad kanal. Ang his footing again interacting is tening laoging ans furi wen anima, ear. Og, na tegafroas ka boss of kan dito but every time his yes found grace sumitin elsif maker and soft, steady intention no ahag tatlumaya showed up una nas merin pink splattered din kan oding a coffee ka sulfur face hero weren't going total nil. Break, lagad pulling her in iden tino until yesterday ascent kayo may hinsew. Tia glance na cross kang room to her lily must know giving isa na drawing titlog or team it featured him great, and nili ang holding hand sander hadyan rainbow boy. Naya matter in trouble this from guy basis sat man isn't just being nice braces shows in you grizzled and her arms are then a defensive as thinking to really maya tiutin her led no mas looking at your layer and lorfort could break last day in years better brisker old answer Deborah happier being same set or resident bayang well met maya straight talig maya im grace fan hearted dallery ang her occasional deliver of churl. Deborah offered the polibat tights my picture just be minute kas is the place for personal and linens maya brinit can give as well pointed smell can you might want to tell your CEO as free crayons away from building up pililo for it quit her kid dirbo and then respond siya simply non dedan what kaya no way Grace ekisag solely watch and word gushin dos liner. Layer that mailing as ka-face trillin and part that period facial gen base linyod to krulyan up lilis desk siya found on more drawing taken under ano tapa the house wet hapor kasin other than yan same free sick figures stones mailing up when she benyad at it chest that she has a gift. In and said behin her shit, turned to fenin standila yung kitaway no create board no distract dias him shadows, draw hatches sisirahad dead she draws wuhan si wants to betong breeze na dead solis teong holding no picture it's kisses sumatem so much she sees revolted cross her voice yet she sees what matters and she is not afraid to name it breeze set her drawing down and met he say yet nis her hair yun no tanimot no silence between fins well dang spoken kains hanging in clear and kanikan said kong to tabi kais we can just for record there's a cottage she haven't ko pinadinawan. Nilikod si Carbecchio kong Becca Gracia City ligat sa her big invitation itlunga saying but if it's time is stop being afraid ang hat kios good she's swallowed nared po si kikening let markin about it she say di ka na degan siya bitter door open, porch like on the wall niya away hands in his pockets leaving her alone in gaganto umafila at the office priest stood still for anong moment right now on in kakes she looked down at Laylis drawing again lang house kaswin lang family and for the first time since she took Lugyo Grace wondering if her daughter's pictures were more than just were thought kicking may be thin where instructions may be thin, where maps tay be islandited kem where sa breeze stretch smelled na si South and Sunwamer and Sunday stepper out of kakar holding lilisahan ang let carousels wraparang nor it was kakin of kit na trout air naglay ka war nadbals giyos long ino before her to her ang breath his son stood unluwide. Court of no veteran si Darshin Gold Cottage Sieves rolled here tasod Bekia one praying his susosult dos light nylon short and hakis more nguman la sa talabawaw, lens mild it's really promise. Tilo porch freed soft he as ti walkian up gikan step ne side and yawn ka door open waltong in kaid the space was warm and then in not, polished late yo ahis orican spen sa house box failed lobyo. In siyang resasen of Lemonwood Polish, lingered in career ang own record player sa ka corner and sunlight parad curb dui curtains sats reagin rayim wet ka breeze sis dos tiriyo leyo. Grace said running her fingers along a bookshelf filled with dog-eared noodles and family cookbooks ikan smalfedigen to so making soctorate kios layoy race Toby. Talagkan into na samro at the back of the aswer along table had been cleared or top nice where aring idin pediro spit sketch pad sweeter colors a folded nung lay in ka center written in essence current careful and written sunshine kasi si Maria Brown better and Lily Gasped istes form allures essence edifigan an artist leads her own space she dropping her bag and rantot ka table already unzipping her penser kiss race watson her for a moment on her ramad beta gastra na focus that hindness at never si medto with strains then kind to the own face. He said boy silaw no. Inankid but he wanted to. Hey wow cannot tolar porch while lily painted just screen door plekins of tea bayin sim na breeze roll in firm no water karing distatsang sa sugmos and chunian slowly tur from somewhere down the beach breeze sleep and carilling your full of survey sa sikan genre kate for a long moment you want to know so missing strange shallow kid, not him he haven't been back her in years. There said not since Elida Grace Braithwaite ka space was supposed to be where Warwick or family as ideas states kan ng young where summers where spent barefoot where shall maunilearn ton twin in katolsen banactor niya accidentally lucky date up cause kadus kong in it without feeling like drunk Grace dead speak she lad the siles old the right of his memory at her tower in her soul and nung her ang watch and near the outer pin at kat table line as was waiting for her kasuhotayin she has stratified Grace said softly shocks, into. Laces and makis lang feel like commit fence rin smeller so do your clear between them kay Kenneth notes bantlet at Grace turn and her face toward the shirt sading against her with si don't. No hat kay si she side setayo and makisten meter doy ilan admitted but for the first time in anong time iwato kan now shilokin at himagain under emotion in his days may hin her chest and care was no script for this moment no punishid line just jerk her one terrifying im scared. She said voice barely above a whisper beyond so many walls for Lily for because it's easier to beron than risk some yun not tying im not. Taskin yaw to tear fame down, before she kaudaan sa screen door creaky stood Fairpins Magda across her cheek holding a picture in bus hand si Milkis, she announced proudly it's Ras. Norris steppered forward, tantok it 30 years stood in front of the porch on to with silver hair on with ang haban on swaharns faced kausan John at sa asuro of yellow and orange abok for an idem kiwa pursuing Lily said because pursuins minis telong ilam to watch the start race filter root titan ikan crouched be ladyay may ikipitani if you promise what to phone it she said seriang ilaw frame it said Lily beamed fat night ato sandi paglaw and kaskitor na labrander ilan real medjetanos while Grace set your ador table Lily danced barefoot ang lapot swimming to herself. Between bites of strawberry it felt impossible and yet sumeroreo after dinner Grace stored, nalon on la Shirlene Wang sneaking at her feet ikan John her hands in his pockets she told me she has seen kas happy in months. Grace said galsing at him she's got run, Ilan said you look lighter. Grace looked out at the waiter voice berelin all the by identifying, there was room in my knife for anything or certain survival. She pepped back of course looking forward to it but when ila. Zero came na munhad shifted it, Scan's door was closed the Boras stood near in a reception desk quest as sabdong Frank Kerr was a stiffness in career on cuts and been Kerr before Grace na kay gente and stepped in it and long it up from a file his mouth for a red but then fully area yung kasi he, Sir Reped stepping in slowly okay. Gestured to no sita cause, from him he wanted girl. Top before the boyd meeting Kerr's binsong shatter. Brace at posit already creeping upward shatter about sa orities. It can sid kay and lurid nice she froze from the rolling. Peace and dead, confirm but you didn't then it aper it just want to make sure you were protected ako until kiss place it notices he very sin pay protauk when change happens to fast recede forward voice steady cross a line nura said fake note quest mo but perception it away stad touchers and perception is very king in case world chess at back as nokidan is so what no it and licity it sense puki care kuy might treat space just a little public litoki ka waiters call Greece na dag solely kamat slipping in event as she understood sa lagit iyon inaklay wedon care when wedo nga at siya gets not forever just until the storm passes he stood the heart limit when it passes kat sa walnyen out without another word back at her desk lilis drawings at pinagdesib or monitor a small reminder of a moment kat no felt meles away grace red to work basert just at senior sounds. Restosti in order siya tape deleted netepid sir at cabinet king cursor. Paitawan her an answer near that after noon maya kwal gim dotan nargit billing on a gallery show next week she said dinig darat they sent out of Hilbury's 20 million got pieces ready savero anet karkin of emotion ang realist popalian into kung on racers no bit at her own ear heart base city ni Don Tilo Westward and nilibring Layli Shikanjo at ka gallery and gilnid fest race stare at ka FT design mock up on her screen ilkal about it don't maya repad say yes before you talk yourself, out of it cat night brace and he sat on the living room floor surrounded by scattered crayons and nagkanvatis dress matched read the turgaw another family festine inside a gallery space ang hanging lights mo. Nili asya dilting or head with don't go anymore brace swallow a gift for good how lily race she know her and place the crayon in her hand sen yara ang ramin digan net morning days a wrap that ka office west ka decision. Already may she sent Maya a message in let hang go pintins let stay up space and may gist may bikat space maog by horse again not be ikang sofilan not belis of opportunity han nedto. For on a golden pibag belas she beauty to herself with late and grit and sakid of look not those frayed jalt becky espeo ko whisper bayid cost doors shadent ning. The various promotion just needed to, remember she was back for no world tone or not to below dollar smelled like fresh pink floor police and fit ambition it was first day evening graph and a walk prog before the opening restored nilya for wong watch and Maya, adjust highlighting on the third piece of her correction the dollar this was smallest my was size ceilings natural wood. Flooring but every corner yod so melimaw and beautiful so meeting cat felt like it matter in her painting sign till is quoting into taong its own a piece of ridicule masterhood survival due in the middle of chose they weren't pernet but they were honest ito dio maya sidestepping back. Beside her na iyon peoplo ergon to yung case this soaked down at her hands spell sting with charcoal from a last minunitats. Accident then he had a little left when showing mayabang figure shoulder lighty returns out you had an enter story trap and in yung and know it's out where it belongs full steps at old from ka back hallway and Grace turned just in time to si Lily appear worth a lollipop in her mouth and the clipboard tears her size ito ok inventory. She then laren handing it to Maya Rahep dalawang na tapat cheers but on swabri Maya salutigir renawal ni intern iturakus kay skin, doff pressure Lily grinadan skipped off toward the bench beneath at painting titled Toles upper dorsum it was so on ipis Grace had almost crowned away twice to honorable to personal she glanced around larong pon speaking up isen han terrate niyahan ko nahan tet hit stage she told herself not to ready into had meetings daylight sa company to run na sister in his ears still she chenid her phone against tail nalking bay pitolo gallery began to wong get sigod in friends focus art students trias tassers bedrown in bako soft news spelling out from the front dos Maya Freud between guests lie upon upward greeting collectors at satin compliments the writing attention toward Grace Court without ever making her the center of the room president need to be the spotlight but she needed him to see it at pito. Dalawang few at taton loberabok that nurtured she turned hurt betraying her before vermin kautam Italian is that pidin save guests in Nivis Laxtant na Grace Port kot kurin shaman kong but his scanned go remote falir torgenki until kay landed on her and softel Grace then mo niner did han fen na no world excel just na litong imin his way on her then fentia diko kisaid bereli above kami city wasn't sir is shown. Palisitilid ba kasi din quant me presence to din your lat to not. Grace fruit titan na dio kay kiyong haircut kin of power if rin mansong kain sa harder san saying needed to bet kay stole karwods not kay kachen up to la silence between them lenali ithan looked past her tono painting bay in her shoulders staleness as starless storm his expression shifted your painted piece. Hasid stepping closer she nodded as last year after Lily got sick were in and out of hospital she then came answers, just fear and press came out of it he stared at it for a long moment the brushy work was chotic at kahigas breeze and deep breeze splashing but toward the center lulay soften that child silhouette road in layers of sumyun parlor light pouring from abong came it's beautiful, na said but it works to look at. She excelled guts nang it kautok nep it. The led to her and Gil's steo showed it to worm. She nodded a yes wet because sumyun up her is leaving it right no. The reason for her hand cannot dramatic note performative the set blinding gesturing sororica species tijotokri, kasi gently it out I was protecting you but it and I was not protesting myself. Grace then slowly words coming on the edge of her voice doyle stellar one space. No. Kasi di want sure seven when it's messily appeared beside Ken holding a cup of lemonade and wearing a necklace made from twisted ribbon shalo kid up at ikan ang ginigito Joe Mong's pictures mag make pepa kay ikan logad drop into a crush kay may netrito lilihan na lin ka ribbon necklace cases for being brem pralo kid at praise tendak at liliken ige kilo where it was but not free of camstod to jeka for a moment that then feel like a middle of a party it felt like only cat night after the last guest ng July di madlong ikan lang pedgis, packer ang soul prints, sinto box set nilihad fallen as it in the corner could up binit mas over sas ko tirer amazin, ikan said suddenly turning to her it don't say it no. Grace shook her leg washing hair from her kisimlot imidjalt karing to keep ko pisas front falling last step ko surisen may buwan, pick them up to gisar shalo kid at yun it's not. Isehan it want na nit I don't need ni kasi softly init real breeze pas net his word settle let yorong donet fen shilin in and rested your for it jante against his didn't kiss not yet but sumesin deeper hapered kay stayed the morning after ko gallery show to waron out softer light ka air it sound was holding its spirit race stood barefoot in her kitchen ka for cool benit perfect a mug of coffee warming her hands rubbed the window early sa light spilled across kapatsyad tart ka drop corner of Lily's chop goings on and steps suret leya Dickens twice in her let again and again kay may buwepi kop kapeses so jitfer it was a promise but it was sumelin. Noom, Likod say pa from lerho waiver pero sa tanon run of drink ni Guebe kong famos. Grace lagid sa tingamug daw ang most murder star of the night. Iliyong padding over and leaning into her side did say isan liar painting si train so came in a way no on el kiver has nililo kay dam not her area going to marry him Grace when mid si Puakido where did that kong frang Lily shrug kid york mayad different kwaliryagar handit lo kid na went pep na friend so willing kwilos days rat kad goshin lither awal hanger hisas special bat so metames maroon. Paps, go so and we're still figuring it out banyo Malaysia last third Lily said simple that matters, the foreign race called respond or phone balhiling on the counter attacks from the borang board meeting has been moved to kasakar noon your attendance requested been update basos the Workington Grace stirred at kasrin for a moment ken sa dia duty ko siyo whispered back at malister solulan sa mood at shiften again there was an undercurrent in the building no whispers in break rooms long glances during elevator rides Grace kaog filter sabtoshe. In temperature every time siya walked into rong les sumyong had terang dinimer doon gas society on the warmth as she step into the glass world conference room Caroline was already seated at kafarhan gof, katib atib not in front of her ayes school and the readable Grace. She hit sand before her nervous cold catch bigat. Time she raised karakis kalir hadjakted aga intense but kahit naiver yun han agreed to spay kum octave lower Caroline was at her desk but di borang natwer at ka-elevator si sinamod. Di borang whispered sumetin about amon being passed frag without her signature idinya with they conduct days race kabrong, noted at her desk for was a sold envelope nun ni John Sir iniyaws inslanted it insid was a letter typed danonima humera apitila reverend no securityas. Kapreti distakisyon inasut sumun si paid for care was no signature nun and gast menong graceful dedit saulis led it into her drawer and sat back her first instinct must to crave her second was to run battery cred stranger can both was tonight instead of retreating ito celeste siya emailed me emergency lunch lawyer pick me a rare nanyan tatlong seconds on me way don't bring your sad kasim na to ohong rito deal with feelings without first payment at adinin near foresight parts at kin with red binyong boats dressy menos and servers mo ko diveryong on mayas nedin to sa bosto kun lo kat great and honored tio chocolate milkshakes winot, tas kiit no kat, lo. May step din say dan mapen or arms around him not desperate years needing yung gravity, ka-whisper the dainster her face at bain yo farapisiman tawag it was may spring and not cold so grong coat goluman Grace told him about ka letter about Caroline about your elevator ride kat chen ignokin and everything isn't and interrupt you then coffer pollution lie or company aparta pololye si just listened can when low words ran out her LinkedIn ko sinin total you submitin ta say dan it's not easy. Grace killed. Her talk a breath carries not just the director she stellar this private shareholder outside of her Moricarious with her voice more can it show than she's been making it pinaaon kan she si CEO as at correct race but kilidon want her city just want me aon it no but she's not interested in cats she's interested in control car firecrack og between lami may been protecting you kate and continued moving projects shielding prospects musing whispers but it's not enough mo na next board meeting kay Redgon topos for a body, not just non you on my own so direction as the company Grace Fruit, Titan Nigakain Filaras Kyoto step down ikin Caroline's betting unfair and she sisin yo to light the match Grace to the wapay pasin kaya sis wahati was afraid of, she's said my trembling being the thing sumyon poits to when say want to gastre sumet kin bigger. It fence toward to yere not aking yere a person I care about deeply and di want apologize for that. Si turned to him but what the kikorin si Verlin yung biop. Tisan stepped forward ken maybe it was bios strong iram to begin when. Please tell that, each other to peopo on sila of, sumekin frigger so melin real. Finally they spoke it may build so metin no but not in secret not in silence is did hurt in his ears to jeller to just a show whispered and when fakes kistain it was furious it was at show Sunday came with a thunderstorm not a nag on just steady soft green washing over Sir Manalay na city was being gently wrung out race sa pangka frat for soft kakotinch bnang it draped over her shoulders at kuning besan her lily was inside drumming while coloring no said kaf nobody waffles stay off moting pearl Ginner look it felt different no sargig na sumeking was rafting binit, it can was yo ani minuton not for a dit not for a stolen moment for a conversation kat kaong tuwitan ni Longshore Grace Rarnis Corpol map before she saw him lot a restaurant siya na nagrebrador shutting socken his footsteps, careful on luwat stone steps where lang receive the pores. Yes sure said Ruskim Midililay. Pa-follow on her into the warm cottage she yes glasin arang lily picked up from her growing and mwem idi mystery and his winner. Her smiled for shinto ay level yung makin anos per masterpiece. Designing a castle. She said matter of fact with secret tunnels and the breakfast room with nest punkies. Isan loke and impressed sounds, like a castle idi want to lie in. Pilitiyon in her head do yalay mamong. There was no recitation ido. Kasi ay very man, God lily said wet anod shelesyo to itantel shehongs more grace no gas of case that pin intong mereso him our might. Iletong match weird pa at ang milutan liligang plem a dramatic sa isen retreat over mo na moment ka door cross grace smang fided net seat. Si sad mo siya ning tower ngas wo sa fanner no wino kasato gintos but not kay tachen siya began iken inid to understand nuhat kuwerbas that ping into not nastitutionally professionally real world consequences. Pero nodded Carolines not backing down she's already meeting primarily with several board members just trying tong aus yung she's trying to reassure the company in her image and in her workers no room for risk no room for knocks at dos kung improper packaging grace look it down at her and so what happens if she wins her city finance where red play iniiwok grace yes na petong his buhati built. Lister solutions to solve problems not to create Jesus tying means betraying matters most ken it's not worth keeping. Purchase titan dila niden kung into your lato may yolo si Verlin. To shock, he said you're dead may nilons anikin yeraminded mawats miuhas. Human kas not a lost cats ka first time in years. He actually thought alin siya said for his hand you're talking about the ring na power legacy. Talking about reclaiming peace, katid gente a crap of Thunder Road Ashten lilies soft singing dressed farog bikahaway lay alola bidris close her yes for a long moment pero what of it all settling in ibelium inyo. She said finally, but you won't get your burn your house down for me. Ikan lane go sa ayas stay ni Fen let's rebuild so making better to jailer. Si smile na ayas met you keep saying nagbe kayo si minit. Nikarit sa tevening maya irang gwetipin some pesnaks and na folder for us it tells we need to talk about kaw dallery again. Sa said laying out plans across the kitchen table kabas actor your show has get down payo ko want more including a correct perfectioniston. Chris Gwynny the correct maya na dagas offering ni Malibu Foster illness actor yo Storm Grace na lead rapping germug cat piece was therapy it was for sang etatri maya sid kaet. Storilo one kit Becky sits feel Grace loked to ikan uwos to ni na doorway watching yet lite resadio der come world so making honest no net ka warude back. She smiled slowly don't know what's happening everything is bigger can me can stepad forward maybe that's what she yelling looks nice. And I not keep expanding as your rain is outside Lily Kane skipping into the room holding her finished drawing kispons for both of you. She seen holding it up yung kaget under an umbrella holding hands willing and in ka center of copage inverting had written siya ni written my family. Grace knelt beside her daughter voice tech is beautiful baby. I can't now tobra in a fanger over inila train so kasi it's perfect. Naiawapid her seem not cream near crane say out loud yet but it was soft tender looking of laughter cat comes when sumestin breaks open gentry and nets kanayin ingal net cunes fog bring more battles more meetings more tension but in that moment kin katorm litong as well sir rain faying into mist breeze no sumetin for sir siya was fighting alon and for go first time in years sa future dead steer her it imbalin her na boardron fop cover kaning soul breeze sat at your fair end of na long walnut tenor her pangs flat against scaffolder in front of her mop. Acts of hanukang pen she dihimum warlin on make ikan or low weekend or her pet med bill her winds nine distant thunder she'd dressed carefully this morning not for attention for her more on her right dibora gave or a small nod of support maya had offered to kumgo sit out in kirung latin kick but Grace had told her no kes was hers to standing isan was Lil and Caroline tinunit siya sa ta. New red of Katebo Pristen as always floros airwise up whisper earrings that coit the light wet every turn of her led her expression was composed but her eyes worship sorong fell into a low murmur until the door opened even while killing combat and redab not carrying only his phone and a pen didn't look at Grace not it but his energy filled the space like gravity had shifted less begging. Sa aspin lalukid at her expression sustaining no would be been attention with pilpawok nuog to kite beautifully. He smiled back at the cottage that nightly had drawn ano sir pictures his own show at the tall building with a rainbow mabong itatlo center was a tiny figure with a bright yellow dress and na parang monster's most cut. Grace at stidlily granid yo at mat nalisir kang kinog. Grace kissed her foreleg holding back tears not because the fight was over but because finally it had been only the next few weeks past in a blur of curate victory this found her song in meetings where her voice was he heard it was asked for project sililo pensye where no being paid sa das then schmartz even the burawo and stiff her distance started bringing coffee to her nest with small smiles and lies layam at but paying attention din. He did consider it a sig stepping back to let her in but can iramang burn what you said the first time we met shin titin her leg what she was katilden chat pero kuwokob ko a decent meal without a microwave she'd been cat sounds na itook it personally sa kitchen smelled na rosemary garlic and sumitin rake and here baking in the oven as wall table had been pulled near low fireplace to sang ready set and soft guns playing from a speaker tucked on a shelf filled out tea. She has been trying to learn what peace looks like. Ethan had sent her 3 copies with asticino for Lily's book on 4-year on for the boardroom been steady since that night that cottage not number for she just present arways calling arways asking questions that may nerve sin not studied fair connection had deepened but not prone declarations from shared silences exchanging glances and kat gentong confidence kat was just care for her was her memorable ni Terren piece had its shadows on of camerim in the form of famous Grace had Jules Piccadilly up from school when her phone balid the saan kaoperan was first prayers familiar hikasis victorious healthy recalling regarding it and Marie story belim when may need to tab. Grace at frozen in her karili chatting in ko baksitabo spelling bisan chocolate milk while sat name curled lay smoke. Around her siya field la family ikan never mentioned without changing the subject she played the message na gain layer kat 9 at early was sa CP and mas on his way over miyakon just as she was about to, delete ka rumis min yugod. Maya as kay define god katsrati, kawits progress to her about the message, about katon about 12,000 pesos rising apply oong Diyos si Sage wants to talk praise finished no detail just katkag benoning Maya offered but it's sumiking Maya pas do yung montok no gaze low kain out ka window at sa street lang casting long shadows over the porch stat si want to be prepared she said kretili iyang metared of being surprised betlo pastor and in an array, labraut lemon tart ng fair vapore kakantiyo. Warn box from his chandruod ong for liliyon na said Grace hadto, with because it might na feel brave puren iwasang musyurang himalit kang more in that momentan ngahid ka storm beuring betorin them even more kaysat side beside on the porch swing kal night air was warm sekas. Plumbing in the kiss Grace then kiss into it Victoria Sheffield code na license body tense design or not dramatically just in now gumrumuhat did she say she wants to talk she. Nagsayway alokit away Joe touches ni kausin ifigured she sa aso sa families pimanshin sholikos when sumesinig spinning race to the game do inid to bespan is yes, wicked back to hers. No bot kay Mike Kanyang dangerous to roto se control na silence between family karig brace voice was soft French spoke fee. Again we then tell more about kang beka si peri tiny tent kin care orbit freeland way to dread mo back is tarkad his hanim not ang rid of your paski just want to know where he stand is the next sorry I did build was to nip you out idiot kem baker severiting iuis to let innerly destroyed midris no dead na ni vice pankir sinting long was so mekin had to sir mang hater nagtong her full wadon care to server. Kay swedges siya heptos tagsram itlan at it morning shake konun Victoria bakimet at akit near the river woplar tindoff peace with press na nagkanto ang manispols. Victoria harem joking lay a magazine cover sharp blazer presses si man polishad go si wanted to meet face to face she said first a boring retreat net months your family will bear a wantin ko sally graceful dead her handsome not part of the family not legally Victoria replied back. Pabriki humor a narrative, no answer family dos play surprise as Grace Irel her gesim notas kanal victorious mayag kililat depends ang naanding Grace Lee din let mong may confine color hidden kung into ikan's life or money or press or possession ikaim bekels. Kaloked at mulay iwas sa radio Victoria Bented just ans Grace Tony so just still prepare the family for a new kid ghost story she said kaya tulay on not dos and wet. How woman being erased as she wanted out ka white ang richest finale listed not because the conf make was over but because she knew siya was guest in case na she belons ninid sat on ledge of her bed sa gallery invasion campaign. Naiti in her hands gumfall letter sock memory card stock beneath your elegant tame face was her name front and center 11 opening mas alitato des away and the very part of her line was suddenly under a spotlight she never asked for si koog kirit pressing in siya at petition yo whispers kagyabnan lingering in her voice boss pub not and private it was covered that scared or it was given the attention it was rat came up per wild proposal real story based on canvas mount fraser or industrial version of first had pite disan walked in ketiloy bein her holding tuwo magsoft siya mo martilop ni spoon on the nightstand, note down in front of her your bent yet. Parited the gently bahin a strand of hair behin her ear you don't trail. To be perfect yung dasepto show up si smiled kinklilat's always been sa hardest part hikis earth napos so undelivery yung ari ni Don yung impossible everything from your istigasi she excelled siya kiliyayis meeting his promise masumitin anything if without fault apot if logare retrios if popotalk if he frees up in front of a press he won't leave, kasaid cutting her off not for any offset not ever. She brinky back at your yukit saying kings they not. Palistay yun. Received forward resting her for yan against his in a fit of calm where nothing much expected of her except to break and banang siya felt sumailing sofentio this real gallery baligwin energized trains of warm nights glowing over red scent of her florals and wine minog in siya and local press community leaders friends even whose skeptical board members made her appearance Caroline among same her highest sweeping common na siya was still measuring its value in dollars per square foot so din na soft gold reservoir coast pinaback her sa steady but her candid money. Nilis, oy broke karong kapro na shrantor or arms wide dress soap nor uplanding or sa finto white of her daughters arms sarang her neck look laya pining lily whispered this laogad sa tier magit akort long niya sunflower nets to sa front door lily bimigmaya red half yung minutes layer ridiat in a koro wrap dress rogi grace fair selilo at yung amin ka room in air. Packing it really well na yalin din kay Don Pinolat, Tante never will ikan stepen beside or len and sliding gently yarang or Mr. Ready. Taas sit matimen alitong, kagrin good. Lat mien sit matl. Kau gallery direct patap nerd nas gently and karum beganto mas hall ayes turned toward gris shares sepen forward kiners bra in the him offering. Juresan ni nag fakir siya began was steady for showing up tonight for art for story for heart siya loki darang nga room major nito kas gallery was traditional eden come from connections for art school or work money it came from lit nights at a dinner and early mornings jetting a little girl dressed for school it came from nas from long from learning how to keep going even when he didn't no Mary was lilagang room was silent is gone in her serend may isipan tinog but more than cut people dead people was around before it told seen myself people who remain dead man at sumitin your head to be broken open to net sa light in her voice outside kay and shimmer still instead closer without interrupting his presses and showing request pay isn't just about beauty she saying it's about healing about stories. That never mind it to the surface and about the courage it takes to bet the story went long world only once the pickers stat but back as a plus was gentle at first, then sumaling into some making warm and earnest layer after Los Peques and Nancy's and wine gases had outward into back bang noise brace to outside ko dareridus ko evening airbrushing her skin ikan John Gers wrapping his hand into mercury incredible. Diyos og bebati filker. Placed on in silence watching guests shake out watching ka windows lobehin kem like asyok no. Ikan give her si Mayan nat den kay Rit cheese as yet con layered with vulnerability and sumatindi pal ibaw car house. Kasi grace benyed hot house. Tumosyang to lahad of ka-third bayon yet. Takid ang canopy of restore the modest southern stair home what aura parang porch and with the green shutters daroon across from sa gallery. Fahadad gaon niya sigkat lay set na heartbeat. Kisterin at iimtring top with battery na lay seeded by it for. Iikan continued step in tower nor ibomut it for at frio for lily for everything when built and diverting one resel building or brace kawityo sa inang skatil needed to a year story your way you said Jan Niriso wanted to review a praise to no that will pressure without expectation yas lop. Dias choice nilitod jid ang grace han kan walay per mama it has a swing on la porch breeze so sid from her daughters may diayis todo manguhad rewritten her view of love not with promises but with presence what pitens with natin gaff loyalty kaden idlod declarations to bet slow siya walked toward him every step deliberate and siya reached him siya whispered ikan.